Rejection is a three-pronged weapon. It harms our relationship with others, it harms how we see ourselves, and ultimately it can harm our relationship with God. I loved fairy tales as a kid growing up. I loved the idea of the princess and the dragon and her vanquishing the dragon. In my little made-up story that I wrote when I was 8, I drew this picture of this princess with a sword because she fought her dragon and won. I didn't realize how prophetic that would be until I became a middle-aged woman, and I realized that rejection was the dragon that I needed to slay. And as I went on this journey to uncover my issues with rejection, why I was so sensitive to it, I discovered that rejection is a part of this life. It's not that I can't overcome it or I can't slay it like the dragon that it has been in my life, but I can't eliminate it either. So if I can't do all of that, then I must figure out a way to handle it in a way that doesn't stop me from forward momentum and from following God and for trusting Him in my heart and my life. Perfection became my reaction to rejection. I thought that if I were perfect, I would never be rejected. That is not true. Rejection tells me that I can never escape it because it is part of this life. But perfection tells me that I'm a fraud. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Rejection made me weary. Rejection made me exhausted. There was no rest because I was always on the lookout for it. And when you live in that state of always on the lookout for something, you never experience true rest. I discovered that rejection is like playing in a messy mud puddle. I feared people's opinions, yet I yearned for them. And as I have talked to others about rejection in their life, I have discovered that that is a common reaction. We yearn for people's approval, and yet at the same time, we fear their disapproval. In my journey to understand rejection, I uncovered 4 different types. Now, I could talk to you about different types of relational rejection, and that is true. There is all kinds of rejection between mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, employer and employees, church leaders and church members. But the type of rejection that I want us to distill it down to are these: perceived rejection. That attitude when you walk into a room and you already assume that everyone has already rejected you. Then there's the actual rejections where you get told no, you didn't get the part, you didn't get the role, you didn't win the election. And then there's intentional rejection where someone sets out to hurt you on purpose. And then there's unintentional rejection when someone misunderstands our intentions or we misunderstand theirs. Rejection is not something to fear, but yet we do. It holds power over our lives, and yet God says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." So how do we come to Him? We start by remembering 3 things. Number 1, not everyone accepts us, and that's okay. Number 2, we are not perfect and we cannot be perfect this side of heaven, and that's okay. And thirdly, God treasures us, and that is more than okay. 1 Peter 2:9 says this: "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of darkness into His wonderful light." You, my friend, are chosen. You are special. God has special purpose for you, and He wants to set you free from your disordered thinking about rejection. And I want you to know that He is tender, and He is loving, and He is kind. So come to Him, all you who are weary, and allow Him to give you rest